You hadn't called him in a while. He wasn't too worried since everybody needed their space, but he had barely seen you outside of class, almost like you were ignoring him. This he didn't like, because he wanted to know if he did something wrong so that he could better himself. He didn't quite understand very well, so he went to the only other person he ever really talked to except for you, Momo. It was right before one of Aizawa's classes when he walked up to her desk. You weren't in the classroom yet, but he still kept his voice low.
Yaoyorozu, could I talk with you for a moment?
He asked.
Sure. What's on your mind?
She smiled sweetly at him.
Well, it's, Traveler, actually. They've been ignoring me lately, and I don't know what to do.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you know if you've done anything different this week?
Asked Momo, but Todoroki just shook his head. Just then you walked in through the door, together with Ochako and Sue. You had this sad look as soon as you saw him with Momo, and it was as if a light bulb went off in Momo's head.
I think they think you've fallen out of love with them,
she whispered.
You should go back to your desk, Todoroki.
Her words stuck with him. Falling out of love with you? But he wasn't doing that. Far from it, actually. So he went to the only other person who he could actually talk to. The hospital loomed over him, but nevertheless he stepped inside. As he walked up to the clerk, he took in his surroundings. The white walls, small chairs around coffee tables with fake flowers. He couldn't decide what to look at, so he looked to the receptionist, who smiled at him gently.
Good afternoon,
she said.
I'm guessing you're here for Mrs. Todoroki?
Yes. Is she available at the moment?
She is. Just go up to her room. You know where it is, don't you?
He walked up to his mother's room, keeping his gaze to himself, with a quick knock at the door. Todoroki walked inside. His mother was looking out the window.
Is that you, Shoto?
She asked before turning around with a bright smile.
Hi, Mom.
He smiled back at her.
Come on, sit down.
She offered him a seat in front of her, which he gladly took.
Is something on your mind?
How did you...
I know my own son. This isn't one of your usual visits.
She let out a light laugh.
So what's going on? Is it Traveler?
It is. They've been ignoring me lately. I tried to figure out what it was, so I asked someone else in my class. Her name's Yaoyorozu. She's very nice and all, but she told me that Traveler thinks that I'm falling out of love with them, when I'm not.
Are you close with this Yaoyorozu?
His mother asked carefully, putting a hand on his leg.
We train a lot together. She's very good at combat and our quirks are good together, but I only see her as a friend. Nothing more than that.
Well, maybe Traveler doesn't see it that way. Maybe they see two people who work well together, and their own insecurities just got the best of them.
His mother's words were so simple. It cleared up everything for him.
Thank you, Mom. I wish I could stay, but I've got something I have to do.
Good luck, Shoto.
The class was having some sort of movie night when Todoroki walked back into the dorms. His eyes found yours immediately, but you looked away quickly. With knowing steps, he walked up to you.
I need to talk to you,
he stated. Some of the guys started making a fuss over it, but stopped with one look from Todoroki. The girls surrounding you pushed you off the couch, and you walked towards him with hesitant steps. The both of you walked into the kitchen for some privacy.
"What's this about, Todoroki?"
you asked, and crossed your arms over your chest.
"I love you,"
he said calmly. It was the first time either of you had said it, and he said it with as much meaning as he could.
"I love you. I don't love anyone else. I know you've been ignoring me because you think I don't, but I mean it."
He took your hand into his, noticing both confusion and the conflict you had just by looking into your eyes.
It was just that you and Yoryuzu, I mean, you're so good together, and I thought...
I don't feel the same way looking at her than I do looking at you. Okay?
He brought you to his chest and wrapped his arms tightly around you.
"I'm sorry, Todoroki."
Don't apologize for your feelings. Just tell me if you're feeling like that again.
"I love you too,"
you whispered. Todoroki pulled you away from him and leaned his forehead against yours. Peering into your eyes, he brought his lips to yours, connecting them before trying to bring your body even closer to him. Your hands traveled up his chest slowly before settling on the nape of his neck, playing with his hair that was there, eventually just combing your fingers through them. Todoroki's right hand came up to cup your face, while his left stayed steady on your hips. As if you were about to take it further, a loud noise of hard plastic hitting the floor interrupted the both of you. The two of you basically jumped away from each other.
"Why would you do that in the kitchen?"
Midoriya exclaimed, red as a tomato. You and Todoroki looked at each other before you bursted out into laughter. You didn't even realize that Midoriya had left. When you looked back at Todoroki, your heart fluttered. It was just the way he smiled, and the slight flustered look on his face.
You should get back,
he said softly, putting his hands in his pockets.
"Or I could spend some time with you,"
you smiled sweetly. "To make up for the past week?"
Well, I couldn't say no to that.
What was he doing wrong? He was scared as soon as you didn't smile at him that one morning. Although he tried to convince himself that you were just tired, it didn't work. Because you didn't walk with him to lunch either. He didn't have a problem with you wanting to do something without him, but it was unlike you. But he left it alone. Maybe you just wanted some you time. Still, he couldn't help but feel a chill down his spine whenever you looked at him when he was talking to someone else, and the wheels slowly started spinning. Were you jealous? No, that couldn't be it. Kirishima knew how you acted when you were jealous. No, this was something else. Something much deeper than that. He just wished that you would talk to him. Now that you weren't around him anymore, others started approaching him. Before, it had been a few brave ones that had walked up to the both of you, trying to shoot their shot, but without you, they all started popping up left and right. He bumped into one of them, who seemed to be very stressed.
"Oh, excuse me, would you mind helping me find my classroom?"
they asked as their cheeks were tinted crimson red.
For sure. Can I see your schedule?
He asked in his normal friendly tone. They gave him their schedule and he looked at the room number.
Ah! I know where that is. Just follow me.
The two of them started walking. Really nothing else. Not even talking. God, he missed your voice. And how he would love to hear you laugh, and... A little squeak sent him out of his dream world. The student had tripped and had grabbed onto his arm for safety.
Whoa! Are you alright?
He grabbed both of their shoulders to steady them. As if on cue, you walked out of one of your classes, spotting them immediately. When he saw the way you teared up before you ran away, he realized what was happening. This wasn't mere jealousy.
Sorry, but I have to leave,
he said quickly before running after you. He found you, alone, in a corner of an empty corridor, and all he wanted to do was hug you close. But now wasn't the time. Kirishima walked up to you and sat down next to you against the wall. You let out a small sob, and he realized you were crying. His heart broke at the thought of him making you cry.
Traveler?
He said softly.
Hey, talk to me.
It's nothing.
You sniffled.
I just... you deserve someone better than me. And I know that you don't love me anymore, so I just...
What are you talking about?
He interrupted.
I don't need anyone else.
But... No, I can't compare to any of the other students that talk to you.
I don't care about them.
And I'm such a disappointment.
Hey!
I don't want to lose you, but I just can't compete with...
I love you!
Exclaimed Kirishima as he grabbed you by the shoulders.
And I'll still love you, no matter how many people I see or talk to.
You looked at him, eyes red and puffy, cheeks spotted with red and messy hair. Still, he looked at you with such adoration and love that the only thing you could muster was wrapping your arms around him. He pressed you into his chest, keeping you as close as possible.
Is this why you've been ignoring me?
He asked. You nodded.
You should have talked to me first.
I didn't know how.
You sobbed.
And you were busy with other people and...
I'm never too busy for you.
He interrupted again, kissing the top of your head.
Talk to me next time.